Hey y'all, I am back with the Venus and Aquarius video. So let me just pull up the slideshow. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody is enjoying the new year so far. All right, so here we go. So this Venus and Aquarius video is also for those who have Venus in the 11th. So some of what is said could apply to you as well. Also, those who have Venus in aspect with Uranus. And some of what is said could also apply to those who have Venus in aspect with a planet in Aquarius. All right, so I chose this quote to represent Venus in Aquarius. It says, "You are a living magnet. What you attract into your life is in harmony with your dominant thoughts." Now, the key word that I chose for Venus in Aquarius is serendipity. Now, serendipity means the occurrence and development of events by chance in a happy or beneficial way. The faculty or phenomenon of finding valuable or agreeable things not sought for. So I also added to stumble upon something good. So that's serendipity, and that's very apropos to Venus in Aquarius. Another key word is eccentric, of course. So, eccentric meaning deviating from conventional or accepted usage or conduct, especially in odd or whimsical ways. So, Aquarius is that eccentric sign. So, those who have Venus in Aquarius, their style could be eccentric. They could attract a partner who is eccentric as well. So, one of the ways they could be eccentric is through hair dye. So you'll have a lot of Venus and Aquarius women in particular that like to dye their hair all different types of colors. Electromagnetic is another key word for Venus and Aquarius, and this basically deals with the law of attraction. So Venus and Aquarius acts as a magnet, Aquarius in general. So when you have Venus and Aquarius, you could be a money magnet in particular, but you can also be a magnet for people as well. So it's just very easy for you to attract people. It's very easy for you to attract money. So if you have Venus in Aquarius, it's best to use it to your advantage. Also, like I said with Venus and Capricorn, Venus and Aquarius can be good for gold diggers. So keep that in mind if any of you guys with Venus and Aquarius are interested in getting in a relationship that's going to improve your financial status. Venus in Aquarius brings perks. So I call Venus in Aquarius the I got the hookup Venus. So a lot of times they're getting hooked up, they got perks, privileges. So Venus in Aquarius is very blessed in that respect. Also, that thing called entitlement. So, a lot of times we look at the word entitlement as a negative thing, but in general, it's not negative or positive. It just means that you deserve something or you're due something. So, entitlement can even be government entitlement benefits with Venus and Aquarius. So, welfare, food stamps, Social Security disability. Convenience. Venus in Aquarius is all about convenience. So they might even enter a marriage of convenience in order to make their life more convenient. So Venus in Aquarius can easily produce that marriage of convenience. And you might find that it's easier to be in a marriage of convenience than one based upon love. Venus in Aquarius also can produce those weird relationships, weird couples that look like they're mismatched. And, you'd be looking at them like, why is she with him? Why is he with her? Why is he with he? Why is she with she? So it can produce those unconventional couples, weird relationships, like this couple right here. And here's another example of a weird relationship. So interestingly enough, this is Diane Fossey, but there's another woman that was very famous for her research in primates, chimpanzees. Her name was Jane Goodall. And both Diane Fossey and Jane Goodall have Venus in Aquarius. So this right here is a weird relationship, unconventional relationship. They developed a close relationship with these apes, Diane Fossey with gorillas, Jane Goodall with chimpanzees, like I said. So, that's very rare. That's unconventional. That's unique. The fact that they were able to get up close and personal with these animals, these wild, unpredictable, potentially dangerous animals. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Also, another Venus and Aquarius trait that Diane Fossey has is that she was the other woman, which is very Venus and Aquarius. And she ended up getting into an affair with the National Geographic photographer who happened to be married. So, yeah, she played the role as the other woman. Her story is very interesting. I watched a documentary on her the other night, actually last night, and I was watching that movie Gorillas in the Mist, which is based off of the book that she read about her experience with these gorillas. And it's a really good movie. Sigourney Weaver plays Diane Fossey, and so you might want to check it out if you're interested in stories like this. And it's a true story. She ended up being murdered, but yeah. So check it out if you would like to see a good movie. Now, Venus in Aquarius is very much about that mental connection when partnering up with people. So it might even outweigh the physical sexual connection. And that can go back to the unconventional couples, weird relationships, because it's more about the mental than the physical. Also, you could look at this as mind over matter. And mental telepathy is one of the blessings of Venus in Aquarius. Androgyny. So, a Venus and Aquarius person could have an androgynous style or look, or they could attract an androgynous partner. They could be attracted to people who have that androgynous look. Polyamory. So, Venus in Aquarius is a good Venus for being in a polyamorous relationship or open relationship. So, with Venus and Aquarius, monogamy may not be such a big deal. And Venus in Aquarius does not really produce jealousy, but sometimes this could be to a fault because I've seen people with Venus and Aquarius be in situations where their husband or their boyfriend or girlfriend has this friend, and this friend is all up close and personal with them, and they can't see that their partner and their friend are getting it on with each other, or they can't see that there's something not right with this connection, and they don't, it's because of that lack of jealousy. And I'm actually amazed by the lack of jealousy, but like I said, sometimes it could be to a fault, and then they end up learning the shocking truth about what their partner was really up to with that friend. So again, with the open relationship thing, it can still be tricky for Venus and Aquarius, because I also have seen where Venus and Aquarius can be in an open relationship, but then want to place these stipulations upon the relationship. Like, okay, we're going to be in an open relationship, but you can't do this, that, and that. And I'm just saying that you can't have it both ways. You can't say you're in an open relationship and then want to have these stipulations about what your partner can and cannot do, especially when it comes to like, oh, you can have sex with people, but don't fall in love. You really can't control who you fall in love with when it comes to, that those feelings inside and all that type of stuff. So Venus and Aquarius individuals, if they are prone to be in open relationships, they do need to be realistic about what could happen. Nudity. So Venus and Aquarius people, they may like to spend a lot of time in the nude, or they could attract a partner who does. They could be nudists together. Venus in Aquarius is experimental, and this can even pertain to relationships. So you may be a partner's experiment, or they may be yours, and you may experiment with different kinds of relationships, such as, that whole, well, I messed around with girls when I was in college type thing. Artificial. So Venus and Aquarius can deal with that which is artificial, that which is phony, plastic, fake. Venus and Aquarius can produce those type of relationship situations where there is a high degree of uncertainty. And that can be frustrating even for a Venus and Aquarius individual. And sometimes a person with Venus and Aquarius, they may feel that a relationship or true love is far out of reach. Far out of reach can include their partner, is basically dealing with someone else, or they're just not in a position, or they're not willing to commit fully to that person. Social media. So, Venus and Aquarius individuals could spend a lot of time on social media. If they have blogs or a YouTube channel, they can attract a nice following. Also, Venus and Aquarius individuals could meet a mate online, and this Venus is good for online dating. Now, a high value is placed upon friendships, of course, and some Venus and Aquarius individuals make better friends than they do lovers. Also, the whole friends with benefits is very common with Venus and Aquarius, and sometimes that works out better than being in a marriage or a full-fledged relationship. But then there is the possibility of being stuck in the friend zone when you have Venus and Aquarius. The other woman, the other man scenario. So again, like I was saying about Diane Fossey, how she was the other woman, that's very indicative of Venus and Aquarius. That is a common manifestation. So if you find yourself as the other man or the other woman, then that's because you got Venus and Aquarius. Also, it could be flipped where you're married and then your partner starts seeing someone else. Also, Venus in Aquarius is very prone to divorce, separations, especially if the couple tries to force a traditional relationship, and where, they are very much about monogamy and very much about, always having to be um, that whole reciprocation and all that type of stuff. A lot of times, if you're trying to have a traditional relationship with Venus and Aquarius, there's a high chance that divorce will be the outcome. Married but living separately. So that could work out for Venus and Aquarius individuals, some of them. So that is an option if you like to maintain a high degree of independence. Who says you have to live together even if you're married? Or some, they may separate but never divorce. Venus and Aquarius individuals can be frigid, cold, unaffectionate, sexually unresponsive at times. So this can create problems in a relationship if their partner is that not that way, or they could attract a partner that is that way. Emotional detachment, that's a common theme for Venus and Aquarius. So, again, like I said, Venus and Aquarius is more about that mental connection rather than the emotional. So, it's best to try to find a partner that is going to be as emotionally detached, or maybe somewhat. That's why Aquarius and Cancer are not harmonious with each other. That those two signs clash because Cancer is emotional and Aquarius is rational. Objectification, so that is one of the more negative manifestations of Venus and Aquarius, and you'll see what I mean when I pull up some of the celebrities. Venus and Aquarius individuals could have a good ear for music. This is a good Venus for music production. Dr. Dre in particular has Venus in Aquarius. Graphic design is also good for Venus and Aquarius. And I have a client that recently sent me a message saying that He's decided to embark upon a career in graphic design. So I'm very happy to hear that. I'm very proud of him with that. Venus in Aquarius fashion. So here's Eva Mendes. She has Venus in Aquarius. Aquarius is very much about blending different colors and patterns, as you can see here. And this dress is kind of eccentric. Even this pantsuit. I like this little rainbow colored dress right here. That's cute. Most Def, he has Venus in Aquarius as well. Now, some Venus and Aquarius men, don't mind dressing with that little gender bender flair, or, they don't mind wearing pink and stuff like that. They really don't have a need to, prove their masculinity. So, hence the way Most Def dresses. You've got to coordinate. That's John Witherspoon. He has Venus in Aquarius. So that's what I mean. That whole coordinate different colors and patterns. Very Venus in Aquarius. Venus in Aquarius can also produce quirky eating habits. It can also produce freaky eaters. This right here is natto, which is fermented soybeans. It's a popular breakfast item in Japan, but from what I heard, it's pretty gross, according to your average palate. Now, Venus and Aquarius individuals could have a tendency to complain about the littlest thing that's wrong with their food when they're dining out. They want their dish to be absolutely perfect, like just as it's described on the menu or just as they had it before. And in that respect, they can, treat servers and chefs like they're robots, like they're supposed to get it right every single time. Exactly. They also, they're the refund kings and queens. They love asking for a refund. They love asking to speak to the manager. So when it comes to them spending money, yeah, they have this pretty big sense of entitlement. Intuitive advice and intuitive readings, that's very common for people who have Venus in Aquarius. So they, a lot of times, they're not going to want to really rely too much on their own intuition, even though they do have a tendency to be highly intuitive, but a lot of times it deals with them being highly intuitive dealing with other people. So they can feel what's going to happen to other people, but sometimes, a lot of times, they could be struggling to, get that intuitive information for themselves. So a Venus in Aquarius individual is likely to seek out an intuitive reader, tarot reader, psychic, astrological advice. So Aquarius is the sign of astrology, Venus is the sign of advice. So there you go. However, I find that basically people with Aquarius energy in general, but Venus and Aquarius included, um, a lot of times they don't even know what they want to ask. They don't know, they don't really have a specific question when they get readings. They just be like, tell me what you see. What do you see in my future? A lot of times they don't know what they want. And that can include in terms of a relationship. It's like they don't know what they want, but they know what they don't want. Venus in Aquarius can also sometimes appear to be inept in order to make others do the work. So again, it's about that convenience. If they can push work off on other people to make their lives more convenient, they may do so. All right, here are some celebrities with Venus in Aquarius. So we have Coco Austin, wife of Ice-T. Now, this is the objectification that I'm talking about. So with her Venus in Aquarius, she is all about objectifying herself, and she has a partner that objectifies her. Also, the whole artificial theme of Venus in Aquarius. Now, her Venus is squaring Uranus. That could point to her alienating herself, which I'm sure she does sometimes when she goes out because she's wearing these real skimpy outfits. Separation, divorce could occur between her and Ice-T at some point. Also, being objectified by a partner. So again, Ice-T being her husband, he is just very much about the objectification of women because his first girlfriend, Darlene, or they were never married, but that's his baby mama. Um, she's on the Corey Holcomb show. So she still got it going on, Darlene. But anyway, she was in like some of Ice-T's early videos. But anyway, he objectified her as well. But moving on, she also has square to her Scorpio moon. This can produce challenges with living with others. Also, self-esteem that fluctuates. And her Venus is in quincunx to her Virgo North Node. This can point to issues with consistency and routine in a relationship. And it could be due to Ice-T's career, also where she's lacking modesty and prudence. So Virgo is the sign of modesty, prudence, and she's definitely lacking in that area. Ice-T. Ice-T, Coco's husband, also has Venus in Aquarius. Now, he is basically exemplifying the objectification theme as well. Like I said, his Venus is conjoined to his moon. That's the pimp aspect. So he very much has this pimp persona and he admits it. Also, you could look at that as him needing a woman to boost his self-esteem. So it's like he always got to have a woman on his arm or to increase his sense of self-worth. His excuse me, his Venus is in quincunx with Pluto and Virgo. That could point to licensing deals, issues with royalties, issues with control and trust in a relationship. His Venus is squaring his north and south nodes. His north nodes in Scorpio, south nodes in Taurus. That could produce money issues and where a relationship triggers past life tendencies and brings about hard lessons. His Venus is also squaring Neptune and Jupiter. That could deal with him being away from his spouse, and it could be due to his career. Also, he could be neglectful of his spouse, and also there could be issues with boundaries. Oprah Winfrey, she has Venus in Aquarius. So she does this objectification thing too with some of her guests and also with Stedman. So I believe that Stedman was just her makeshift boyfriend. I don't believe they were really in a love relationship. It was basically that was to kind of mask her lesbian. And I do believe that Oprah is a lesbian. So that Venus conjoined to her sun in Aquarius, that can manifest as a lesbian relationship. And it points to her having a very large following, fan base, and where she's a trendsetter. And this can cause her to be elitist. She has Venus trine Jupiter that produces riches, lavish lifestyle, plenty of travel. Her Venus is squaring Saturn that could point to issues with control in a relationship, imbalance of responsibility. And with that, she may prefer to be alone than being in a relationship. Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre has Venus in Aquarius, like I said before, that makes him a good producer. His Venus is in quincunx to Uranus and Pluto in Virgo. That could point to issues with copyright and licensing. Also, being in a tumultuous relationship and where he could be a bully towards women and be abusive. This can also point to issues with his sexuality, especially that Venus quincunx Uranus. And he has Venus square Neptune. This can manifest as shady deals and being deceptive, dishonest, also attracting a partner that could be that way, and where he could be neglectful of his partner, and where there could be issues with boundaries. His Venus is squaring Jupiter and Taurus. That could produce costly lawsuits, tests of his generosity. It can make him prone to extravagance. Also, he might be in deep for child support, and there could be an issue with distance in a relationship, and it could be due to his career. Sade. Sade has Venus in Aquarius. She's a Capricorn. That's trining her Libra North Node, so that points to her singing career and also her beauty. She has Venus squaring Neptune. Again, that could deal with either being neglected or neglectful in a relationship, and it could be due to her career. Also, could attract a lying, deceitful partner. Her Venus is opposed to Uranus and Leo. That could point to her perhaps not being fully comfortable with fame And also, sudden separations are possible. And this points to her daughter being transgender because her Uranus is in Leo. Bow Wow. Bow Wow, he has the whole artificial thing going on because he was faking the funk. He was being phony about the amount of money that he had, acting like he was going on his private jet and whatnot. Now, what sign is Bow Wow? Is he a Pisces? Let me go to my notes. I think he is a Pisces. Yeah, he's a Pisces, born on March 9th. So it's very easy for him to fake the funk with that combination. So artificial, having this sense of entitlement. His Venus is conjoined to Juno in Aquarius. And this can deal with attracting a dictatorial, tyrannical, or very willful partner. And he did get beat up by his girlfriend, I think. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Also, with that conjunction in Aquarius, wasn't he accused of being with a transsexual? Also, this could point to perhaps him having some homosexual tendencies. His Venus is in trine with his Libra South node. That points to his music career. And that can mean that the table was nicely set up for him. Also, his Venus is in sextile with his Aries North node. That could deal with him making a name for himself. Venus trine Gemini ascendant. That points to him being a rapper. Chris Rock, not much to say about him, but he does look weird. Chris Rock has Venus in Aquarius, is conjoined to his Mercury. That makes him very relatable, smooth talker, and charismatic. And you can look at that as him really, changing people's viewpoint, or he'll challenge people's viewpoints, or make people, question certain viewpoints, which he does very well in his stand-up. His Venus is in trine to Mars, and that makes him charismatic, very likable, and where he could be a trendsetter. Blue Ivy. Now, Blue Ivy got that androgynous thing going on. I don't care what nobody say. She looks like a little boy in this picture. I noticed in other pictures she looks very boyish. I'm not trying to say she is a boy, but damn it, she looked like Jay-Z with a wig on. Like, for real. So she got that androgynous look going on, and it makes sense because her Venus is conjoined to her South node. Matter of fact, it's conjoined to her Neptune. That's what it is. And she got that entitlement because she's a little rich girl and she's living a life of privilege. So she got that Venus conjoined to Neptune that can produce wealth and financial insulation. Her Venus is in trine to Saturn. That can deal with her having a career in music when she gets older, and where the table is already set for her to be successful. And that can point to Jay-Z's influence. Venus is in quincunx to Mars. That can deal with her not being well adjusted. And also, it could point to an issue with her being integrated into society because she's probably guarded from a lot of stuff. Her Venus is squaring her midheaven. That could deal with issues with both parents and also her home life in general, and where she is very guarded and protected from the public. LeBron James, he has Venus in Aquarius. It's in trine to his Gemini ascendant. That's representing his basketball skills. I know that because that's an air trine. That can deal with him dunking. And just think about how Michael Jordan, aka Air Jordan, is an Aquarius. So basketball players that have strong air energy can fly through the air and, dunk. Also, let's see, Venus square Saturn. Oh, that Venus in Aquarius trine Gemini ascendant also deals with him putting up the money for that school. I don't think it's totally his school, but I think he put up a lot of money for that school to be built and open or whatever. Venus square Saturn can point to issues with control and relationships, where he could attract an opportunistic partner. It can point to separation and loneliness. Venus square Taurus North node, Scorpio South node. This can point to heavy financial obligations. and where a relationship activates hard lessons and the remittance of karmic debt. Kelly Rowland. Kelly Rowland, she displaying a little androgyny here, if you ask me. I always thought she was very feminine looking, but I've been looking at some recent photos of her, and I was like, she's starting to give off a little androgynous vibe. I wouldn't be surprised if she's bisexual. Now, her Venus is conjoined to her Aquarius South Node. That deals with her being in Destiny's Child, but that can also produce lesbian tendencies. It's squaring her moon, and that could produce issues with her mother. Didn't she have issues with her family or her mother, like where she basically was taken in by Beyonce's family? Y'all let me know about that. That can also deal with her not feeling loved and accepted, issues with living with a partner day in and day out, and also where her needs are not being met in a relationship. Her Venus is squaring Chiron. That can produce dysfunctional relationships, financial problems, and where a partner wants to be the exception to the rule, or it could just produce, just a strange relationship where it's not really what it seems. It's artificial, even. Also, this can deal with a partner who inflicts wounds upon her self esteem. And her Venus is in semi square with Neptune. This can produce issues with self esteem. It can produce lying, cheating partners, and where she is under the illusion that a partner is really devoted to her when really they're not. K Michelle. K Michelle has Venus in Aquarius. She changes her hair a lot, especially like in terms of the color. And this can deal with her being artificial in some ways. And she did get the butt implants. I think she got breast implants, hip implants. I think she got the whole workup. And she is an example of objectification too, because she's succumbed to that whole objectification of women. And she did say that she regrets getting the butt implant, and she had complications with that. Now her Venus is in semi-square with her sun. That can produce willfulness. Her Venus is in trine with Jupiter. That can produce riches, lavish lifestyle, plenty of travel. Her Venus is in sextile to Uranus. That represents her fans, followers, and her vocal range. And her Venus is in square with Pluto. That could produce issues with infidelity, points to the surgeries due to issues with her self-esteem, and it can produce a relationship where there's issues with power and control. Dwayne Wade, basketball player. So he's very eccentric. You can see it with his style of dress. And he is an example of the other woman where he was married, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he was married when he was dating Gabrielle Union, who played the role of the other woman. Now his Venus is conjoined to his sun. Men that have Venus conjunct sun, if they're not channeling that energy into like music or the arts, they could be very effeminate in some, or very, I'll just say very in touch with their feminine side. And they could have a gender bending style if this conjunction's in Aquarius, like with Dwayne Wade. So just Google images of him and you'll see that the way he dresses is very eccentric and sometimes rather effeminate. He has Venus square moon, and that can make him prone to cheating. Can produce mommy issues where he didn't feel accepted or loved, issues with women, and this could be a gay aspect. I've seen this aspect present in quite a few gay male charts. Venus square Jupiter. This can produce extravagance, test of generosity, lack of closeness, but this could be due to his basketball career. And his Venus is in sextile to Uranus. That could deal with his androgynous fashion sense and where he's just open about being like that whole gender bender. And he's very accepting of his son being trans. I believe he came out now and said that his son is going to transition into a boy, into a girl. Vanessa Williams, she has Venus in Aquarius, is conjoined to her Saturn, and this can deal with her marrying for status, material gain, also opportunism. Her Venus is squaring Neptune, and again, the whole thing with lies and deceit being a major theme, also being neglected or neglectful in a relationship. And again, a lot of these stars had this Venus where Neptune, it can be mainly because of their careers, always having them be on the road. Also, that Venus square Neptune deals with the scandal that she was involved in with those new lesbian photos that were published in Penthouse magazine, and that caused her to have to give up her Miss America crown. She also has Venus semi-square Sagittarius moon, and I see that with namely issues with her um, race growing up, like, because she has that biracial look. I think she's fully black though. I think both of her parents are just like they had that Creole blood in them or something. Sheila E. No, not Sheila E. Skip one. Kat Von D. Kat Von D has Venus in Aquarius. Makes a lot of sense just due to her style. Her Venus is in semi-square with her sun. That could produce willfulness in a relationship. Sextile Uranus, that's her attracting a huge following. Square Jupiter, that can produce extravagance, test of her generosity, and lack of closeness with a partner. Sheila E., Prince's protege, one of his proteges, one of his main women, um, she has the whole love seems far out of reach theme. Even though she was with Prince for a number of years, he was never faithful to her. He was all bouncing around with different women, which makes sense because Prince was a Gemini. Now, her Venus is conjoined to her ascendant. That points to her relationship, especially with Prince and how he shaped her identity. And her Venus is opposed to Uranus. That could deal with sudden separations. And again, love seems far out of reach or unavailable. Lovers versus friends. And Sheila E. has never been married. Now, she's a Sagittarius. And a lot of Sagittarius women, especially in this day and age, will end up remaining single simply because of that freedom theme, independence. And if you got Venus in Aquarius, that's basically up in the ante. Her Venus is squaring her Neptune. I already told you what that deals with. And it's squaring her Scorpio North Node, Taurus South Node. And that could deal with relationship, triggering that karmic debt, and also triggering some hard lessons. Kiki Wyatt has Venus in Aquarius, and she was a victim of the whole other woman situation because her husband was dealing with some other woman. Did he get the other woman pregnant? Y'all let me know about this. My memory fails me. But she has Venus semi-square sun that can produce willfulness. And I'm just saying that in general because I don't got time to really get deep into these aspects. She has Venus trine moon, which can produce her singing ability and her singing career. Um, she has Venus sextile Uranus that can produce a wide vocal range, loud singing voice because Uranus is in Sagittarius, her hit in those high notes. Her Venus is squaring Jupiter in Scorpio. Again, that other woman situation, legal problems can be costly. She could attract a partner that's going to use her for money and lacking closeness. And this could be due to her career, but it could just be due to the type of partner she attracts. Paris Hilton, she has several Venus and Aquarius themes, namely the nudity, privilege, and entitlement. Now, the nudity comes in with, I remember back in the day when she was all hot to try and she was all, in the media constantly. The paparazzi got a few photos of her with her legs open, like get it out of a car with her hoo-ha hanging out because she wasn't wearing underwear. And that's very Venus and Aquarius. Not saying that every Venus and Aquarius person gonna be like that, but Aquarius is a shameless sign. Aquarius just doesn't have that shame. And a lot of Aquarians like to go in the buff or not wear underwear and stuff like that. And it's that liberation thing with Aquarius. They don't even, I mean, some Aquarians don't even like clothes because it makes them feel less liberated. All right. Also with Paris Hilton, she has Venus conjoined to her South Node. That could deal with her being photographed with her hoo-hoo hanging out, like I said. She has Venus sextile her Sagittarius ascendant. That could produce a life of wealth and privilege, and where she's a world traveler. And she has Venus opposition moon. That could produce issues with family, where she's not really close with her family at all. Venus square Chiron, dysfunctional relationships, attracting broken or wounded partners, partners who inflict wounds upon her self-esteem. And she could have an eating disorder. And who else has Venus square Chiron? Kelly Rowland does. She might have an eating disorder as well, or might have had one at some time. And last but not least, we have R. Kelly. Now, R. Kelly, Venus in Aquarius, Aquarius is the sign of the pervert, also the tyrant, the dictator. That points to his sense of entitlement as well. His Venus is opposing Jupiter, which points to his legal issues. It's opposing Apollo, and Apollo is an asteroid that deals with music, but it can also deal with where the person is very controlling. They basically want to be like a god over other people. And he has his Venus conjoined to the fixed star Giedi Prima. Now, this can produce great fortune, but it can bring problems with love affairs and peculiar events. So let me know what you think in the chat. I'm just going to let this run so y'all can continue to chat it up, and I'll be closing it out in about a minute or so. I will be doing my Capricorn live stream very soon, either Friday or Saturday of this week. So stay tuned for that. It'll probably be a 2-part special. And so, you can start letting me know right now some of the things you not actually know, because this is a Venus and Aquarius video. So keep it to Venus and Aquarius. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to post something in the community tab about my upcoming live stream for Capricorn season. So then you can provide any suggestions, anything you want me to talk about that's Capricorn related, any Capricorn celebrities. If you would like a reading, you could go to my website at rabina.com. Those who attended my New Year's Eve online party, thank you very much for attending. I'm currently working on your 2020 forecast. So thank you for being patient on that. And yeah, that was a really good turnout for that New Year's Eve party. So I'm hoping that everybody enjoyed themselves. I did get some feedback from some of the attendees, and they did enjoy it. So I'm hoping that others enjoyed it as well. And also, I know I was saying keep it to Venus and Aquarius, but Aquarius is the sign of goals and hopes. So, feel free to list some of your goals and hopes for the 2020. Let me get off of this. I'm tired looking at his face. Um, some of your goals and hopes for the new year 2020 breaks down to 4. That is monumental change. I usually don't like face tattoos, but I do like these stars on the side of her face. Rather tasteful for face tattoos. That is one weird brother, and that belly button is nasty looking. Her foundation is too light. I think K Michelle is very pretty though, but I feel like she diminishes her own beauty by adding all this extra stuff and getting the plastic surgeries and stuff. And I saw this recent picture of K Michelle, and it looked like she got her face like injected with a bunch of Botox, or she got a facelift or something, or some of that what do you call that, collagen inject. She looked terrible. So she definitely has some issues with self-esteem, and she can attract men that are going to tear down her self-esteem. Again, she really rocking that. I'm not going to say it's a fully androgynous look, but it's like it's leaning towards that androgynous end. But she's still very pretty nonetheless. Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bill? I feel like LeBron James is getting better looking with age. Makes sense because he's a Capricorn. There go Blue Ivy. She a Cap too. She was born, and I don't think I mentioned everybody's sun sign, so I'll go through this again while y'all are chatting it up. Blue Ivy is a Capricorn born January 7th. That could produce an ambiguous look too, a gender fluid look. Chris Rock is an Aquarius born February 7th. I don't know what's going on with his nostrils up in here. Maybe that was some cocaine, remnants of the cocaine that he was sniffing before this picture, or is that gray nose hairs? That don't look like gray nose hairs. That look like a little powder. Bow Wow, Pisces, like I said. Sade is a Capricorn, born January 16th, same day as Aaliyah. Dr. Dre, Aquarius. Sun at the 29th degree of Aquarius, conjoined to Saturn in Pisces. He got a very Saturnian look and a Pisces look, in my opinion. But those eyes do have that Aquarius kind of spaced out look. He was born February 18th. He just has that very unstable look. You know, like he could snap any minute. Probably not on a man, but on a woman. And I do remember that he threw that radio personality down the steps. Her name was Dee, if I'm not mistaken. Oprah is an Aquarius, of course. Ice-T is an Aquarius. His birthday is February 16th, 1958. 16 is good for music. Who else? There's Coco. Coco is a Pisces, I believe. Let me see. Yep, born March 17th. Who else did I miss? Oh, and I just wanted to say no shade on Blue Ivy. I think she is adorable, but she still look like a boy. I'm like, look at that. Anyway, did I say what Kat Von D is? Kat Von D is a Pisces. Vanessa Williams is a Pisces, born March 18th. Kat Von D, born March 8th. Sheila E., I said she was a Sagittarius, born December 12th. Kiki Wyatt is a Pisces, born March 10th. Paris Hilton, I think she's an Aquarius. Where's she at? Yep, Aquarius, February 17th. R. Kelly, Capricorn. All right, so that's about it. Again, if you would like a reading, you could go to my website at rabina.com. Stay tuned for my live stream for Capricorn season coming up, and I'll be doing the one card readings again, so look out for that. And I will be seeing you soon. Also, I'm going to be posting my Saturn Pluto conjunction video very soon as well, dealing with the Saturn Pluto transit that's actually in effect right now. It just hasn't become exact yet. And you can see the effects already with what's going on in Iran. So we'll see. But take care, everybody. I will be back. Peace and many blessings.